Welcome back to a brand new episode of The Drunk Chef. Before I get going too much, I want to say thanks to my friend Kimberly for sending me this awesome t-shirt. I really appreciate it, and I'll wear it with pride every chance I get. So, for tonight's episode, I've invited a little friend who's sitting here beside me. Everyone, meet Larry the Lobster. Everyone, Larry, hello! Bisque!
I used to drink, I used to smoke, and then I dance. I used to drink, I used to smoke, and then I dance. Well, coming for the living.
Larry's been kind enough to volunteer himself to be a part of my wonderful Lobster Bisque. Yes, you have. I've decided to go all the way, get Larry here, and I'm going to steam him myself. Because I don't want to just steam him in hot water, I want to steam him in clam juice and white wine. And then we'll basically make the bisque from there. So, this is how you take Larry and make him into a bisque. Are you ready to go, Larry? You ready to go? I think Larry is sensing his impending doom here, so what I want to do is, this is going to make enough really for 2 people as an appetizer. Again, you can double it and make more for like 5 or 6 people. Basically, I've just got 1 Larry. If you want to do enough for, say, 5 or 6, you want to get 3 lobsters. So this is just enough for really two small servings, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring 2 bottles of clam juice. And I want to bring 3/4 a cup of white wine. So what I want to do is get that turned up and to a boil. So what I'm going to do is once my clam juice and white wine comes up to a boil, I'm going to give Larry a bit of a cold water bath here underneath the tap, and then I'm going to put him in, and I'm going to steam him covered for about 4 minutes, give the pan a bit of a shake, and steam for another 3 minutes, so about 7 or 8 minutes total. I want him a little undercooked. I'm not going to cook him completely for this recipe because the lobster actually cooks a bit more once we make the bisque. So my clam juice and white wine is coming to a boil here. Give Larry a bit of a bath. And then it's time you all say goodbye to Larry. Bye, Larry. Larry's going to go in there for 4 minutes. I'll give him a bit of a shake stir, another 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes, and then he'll be done. I think Larry has had his day. So you can see Larry's all nice and cooked here. Again, hopefully he's not done all the way, and he shouldn't be. I'm just going to put him in here in the bowl and just let him cool off. I will stop referring to him as him from now on. It will be the lobster. What I want to do with my stock here is just basically give it a strain into a bowl and keep that for my soup. So our friend cools down here. I just need a couple other ingredients, of course, for the soup. Celery, carrots, garlic, and a bit of onion. I just need about 2 tablespoons of celery, 2 tablespoons of chopped carrot, minced garlic, just a clove of garlic, and again about 3 tablespoons of onion. Okay, Larry's cooled down. Sorry. The lobster's cooled down here a little bit. I think I can take these rubber bands off now. I'm just going to twist the tail off. Bend. Just going to twist off these tail flippers here. And then using a fork, I'm just going to try to push the meat up out of this end here. There we go. That's a nice big chunk there. Okay. So this is the meat from his tail. I'm just going to basically cut this up here. Lastly, I just want to keep this shell here, and you'll see why in a second. So I'm just getting rid of all this stuff on the inside of the shell. Okay, so now what we want to do is we actually want to grind up some of these shells. So just take, in this case I can take all of the shells. If you've done 3 of them, you'll have to do a little bit at a time. So I'm just going to wait for my pan to get nice and hot here. What I'm going to do is, once it's nice and hot, I'm going to put my shells into the pan and basically just cook them for about 3 minutes or so until they're brown. Again, if you've done the full thing, you use the 3 lobsters, do it half and half. But I'm just going to use 1, brown it, and then what I'm going to do is my favorite thing in the world, light it on fire. I'm going to add my shells to this. So basically what's happening here is the shells actually add a lot of the flavor to the bisque. That's why we're doing this. We grind it up and cook it for a couple minutes just to get some of the flavor. The shells, flambé it, but again when we put it into the soup, we'll strain it out of course, but it actually adds a lot of flavor. So now what I have here is about a 1/4 cup of brandy. Now to flambé anything, make sure you don't have your fan circulating or anything like that. Make sure there's nothing around. If gets a little bit catchy on fire, okay? And use one of these, don't use a short little match. And we're just going to set this aside. Okay, now we're ready to make the soup. What I'm going to do is I've got my Dutch oven here. I'm going to warm it up. And into that I'm going to put a tablespoon and a bit of butter. Okay, to that, my butter, I'm going to add my 3 tablespoons of onion, my carrot, 2 tablespoons of carrot, 2 tablespoons of celery, and my garlic. Okay, so now I'm going to add a couple more tablespoons of butter to that. And to that I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of flour. Now I've got my leftover liquid that we used, the white wine and clam juice. I'm just going to add that a little bit at a time. You can use a whisk too, just it's so the flour incorporates with the liquid and starts to thicken up into the soup we want. Now to that I'm going to add my lobster shells. I've got some basic diced tomatoes here. I'm going to add a half a can of, this is just like a 14 ounce or 398 milliliters. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this down to low. And I'm going to cover it. And I'm basically just going to let this simmer for about 20 minutes. Okay, so this has been simmering for about 20 minutes. It's looking pretty good. To that I'm going to add half a cup of cream. Give that a wee stir. So I'm just going to basically let this sit for about 10 minutes. Simmer just a little bit over low. For about 10 minutes. So now obviously what we want to do is give this a strain. You can see that I've got all my shells in there and all the vegetables and everything. We want to strain that all out just so we're left with the creamy bisque. Look at my clean pot here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my strained bisque. I'm just going to add just a little bit of lemon juice, maybe like half a teaspoon. And I'm also just going to add just a little bit of cayenne pepper, just a little bit of heat. So the soup's nice and hot. I'm basically going to add my diced lobster back in. And then I'm just going to add just a half a tablespoon of Canadian cherry. Give it just a bit of taste here. So my bisque is all done. Let's have a little taste. This is some great bisque. Best you'll get on this side of New Brunswick. Thanks for joining me on this episode of The Drunk Chef, and I'll see you next time.